So I think we're just working a lot harder than we used to do. I'm not saying that the other teams aren't, but I think we are taking some approaches which other teams aren't, and I think that's what's paying off. So it's like physical training, it's the tactical approach and being effective when we practice.
Without revealing too many secrets, can you say something specific that you guys are doing inside the server that you think that you're ahead of the competition with?
Inside the server, I think our renewal of tactics is, a big part of what we're doing now. I think the double nade stacks that we have been doing is a sign of this, and I mean, there isn't really anything to to say that I can't say. It's it's just a lot of new things we're doing, and obviously it's paying out really good in the games, and it's more or less building up on what we have been doing until now. It's kind of the same tactics but with variants. So, for example, a B tactic, we fake it, and go A. So, if people watch our demos, then they will think that we're going B, but we're going A. So, it's more of thinking that teams will be studying us now and trying to see what we're doing, and then we have to counter them. So there's a lot of mind games in that as well, and that's what makes it really hard to be on the top. It's the mind games and being able to prepare and being able to renew yourself so that you're not predictable.
Going back a little bit to the grenade and utility usage, just so we get a bit of a picture, how much time goes into developing the double nade stacks you mentioned, or the very effective flash usage you guys have been developing? Who comes up with it, and how do you guys develop an idea? Do you guys practice in scrims without revealing too much, or is it just you guys do what the Korean team We Made Fox used to, just go on an empty server and do the choreography like it was a ballet? So how does this work?
So the guy who came up with the nades was actually Danny, the coach. And what we typically do when we come up with ideas like this is that, of course, you want to practice them, but you don't want to practice it against good teams. It's like if you're going to meet them in the tournament, they will expect that you are going to do this. So we practice this kind of stuff against lower tier teams, or we don't do it at all. So sometimes we come to a tournament and we actually haven't tried it in practice. Of course, we've been sitting on a server and testing the grenades and been testing everything, but once it is in a match situation, it can be different, and sometimes that's also not worked out for us, that we haven't been able to test it. But you just don't want to test it against good teams, because then they will know that you're doing it. So there goes a lot of thought process into doing these things, and how to practice and how to execute it. I think it's something that we are very aware of when we do these kind of things, so that we don't spoil it away to the other teams.
So Magisk has been playing with you guys for a while now. How do you find he's finding his place in the team?
Magisk is a great asset to us. Great firepower, great individual player, makes great decisions in the game. So he just fits into the role classes we had as well in the team, and he's a great guy outside of the game as well. So obviously just happy, and it shows in our results that he's fitting very great into the team.
Yeah, because you can notice that he himself has developed a lot as a player since he joined Astralis. Do you think that's part of the team culture, or what is it that you guys did to make him blossom into this, force to be reckoned with that he is now?
I think it just fits his role, what we had up for grabs in our team. So I think we didn't do too much. Of course, we have been talking a lot about how we want to implement him into the team and how he feels confident into the team. But it would have been worse if he would have gotten, for example, my roles, or So I just think it's great that it was those roles up for grabs in the team, and it fits him very well. it's also why we chose him, and like when we had to choose a player when Kjaerbye left. So it's great that he's fitting in, and I'm happy for that.
So are you saying he was the first choice?
He was the first choice, yes.
All right. So one last question. You guys won the European League the online stage of this season of ECS, but obviously we have the North American squads incoming. Who do you see as a threat in this tournament coming from North America?
I think it's difficult to say now that FaZe are also playing with Chroman. They aren't playing with Exist, which they have been playing with, and Fnatic just changed the player. But I'd say FaZe, even though they have a stand-in. Also, Mouse Sports, Liquid as well. I think they're doing great. Obviously, didn't go to the final, but didn't go to the final in Star Ladder. But that's sometimes how it goes. But expecting a lot of good matchups here, and looking forward to it.
Last question. What do you make of the trend that some teams are no longer playing with like a solid first primary AWPer, but just tossing the AWP around? Do you think this will catch on, or is this just a speciality some of the teams like Liquid have?
I think we did it once as well, and I think it's because there is lack of AWPers like in the scene in general. Like there isn't players who want to dedicate themselves to an AWP, and the newcomer AWPers don't have the experience, and so that like you need to have other players either take it on secondary or just not play with it. I think it's not the right way to go. We tried it and it didn't really work out. When you play against a Guardian or a Kenny S, you need to have an AWPer and a confident AWPer. So I don't see it working in the long run, and it's also something that we're exploiting on teams that doesn't have an AWP.
Okay, thanks very much.